Hello everybody. How is it going today? It's kind of nice outside, not too cold. Finally warming up a little bit. Make sure you get your comments in there. Let us know you're here so we can say hi and you can get your name in for that draw that we do at the end of every month. And Happy New Year to everyone. So make sure you get your comments in there. Just gonna wait another moment to let people get on. Hi Dagny.
Hi Lori.
Hi Lori. Happy New Year. So it's a new year. We're gonna talk about a new product today. We're gonna talk about these Distress Watercolor Pencils here in a minute, and I'll do a quick little demo. Hi Rhonda. Hi Pam. Thank you for joining us. Before I get started in this demo, let's talk about a few classes we have coming up. At the end of the month, we have a creative consultant class, and it's gonna be this handmade kind of pocket album. You'll be using a 6x6 paper pad from Prima and some ephemera that matches. I just posted that today, so go check on the website or our Facebook page. This is gonna be on the 29th from I think 2:30 to 5:30, and it's $49, and this is our creative consultant. Michelle's doing this class. Hi Dorinda. Hi Lori. Thank you for joining us. And tomorrow Lizzie has her first class. It's not too late to sign up. Do you want to show them some of your pages for your...
So it's for my bullet journal class. If you don't know what a bullet journal is, it's basically just like a little planner and helps you kind of organize your life and
new
stuff.
year, new planner. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. So I have, this was my last year's January. I did like a crossword theme because I'm big into crosswords.
Fun.
Like every cool teen. I've got... what else do I have? I did like a mushroom theme one month.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Oh, I like this one. The August one turned out nice last year.
Oh, so nice. Love those flowers. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be doing a ton of different kinds of pages. September. Crosswords are fun, Pam. I love them so much.
They are fun.
Yeah, so we'll be doing the yearly page and the January page tomorrow, and I would love to see you there.
Yeah, and if you can't make January, you can always set them for February, March, April, and then you'll learn the techniques and you can always go back and do those pages. So it's never too late to start. All right, so we have those two classes coming up, and I guess let's get started on this demo. I'm so excited about these Distress Watercolor crowns. We have only 2 left in stock because they went pretty quick when we got them in. We have one of set 2 and one of set 3, and they retail for $38.95, but you get 12 colors in there, and each set, let's try to see, has like a rainbow color. So you're not just buying, like any set you buy, you'll have plenty of colors to play around with. I'm gonna be demoing and playing around with set 1. That is a set I bought to take home. I was so excited when these came in. I was like, I gotta have these. So I did. Let's just switch the camera over here. Perfect. So this is the set I'll be working with. It is set 1. And it has all these. I'm just gonna take the lid off here. So it comes in this tin. It has this lid here, so you can also use this if you didn't have like a mat or anything. And we definitely have more on order. So if you want set 1 or anything, let us know. We have more coming in. So you can always scribble on here and use this as like a mat if you needed to. It has this plastic bit in here that comes with 2. I won't even lie, I take it out. And I use this as like my smusher when I want to do smushing. But we'll leave that there. Yes, they are the same colors as the inks. So in this set 1, I have picked raspberry, fired brick, rusty hinge, mustard seed, villainous potion, salvage patina, speckled egg, salty ocean, peeled paint, walnut stain, black soot, and picket fence. This is set 1. And then you have another set of colors in set 2 and set 3, but kind of all in the rainbow shades so you can play with whatever set you have. So yes, they will match the inks, they will match the sprays. So it's just another medium that you have in the Distress line that you can play around with. Now I'm gonna pull mine out. So when I was watching videos, I said the best way to get them out of your tin is to push on the tip here and pull out. This one is speckled egg. You see they come not very sharp, but you can use a pencil sharpener or anything like to sharpen it. I suggest if you're gonna have a pencil sharpener, save the shavings because you know there's plenty we can use with those. There is no wood in these colored pencils. These are woodless, so it's gonna be all pigment. You do see the wrapper here, and it is more like a parchment, so it does unwrap when you use the pencil sharpener. And you don't have to keep them in here. You can take this black thing out. I like it because that's how it came. Maybe if I get all sets, that might be different, but you just kind of pull down and pull up, and that's how you get them out. There's quite a few ways that you can use these. You can use them with a watercolor brush, which is what I like to use. You can use them with regular paint brushes. You would just want your cup of water, your 2 different cups of water, clean water, not so clean water. You can use them on white paper. You can use them on dark paper. Let's I'm just gonna show you real quick. So this one here, I did with the watercolor brush. Now on the back side, I tried using just a regular paintbrush in water, and I found that I am better with the watercolor brush, but it's all gonna be what you guys like and what you are used to doing, or it's gonna be playing around. There's gonna be a lot of playing around to get used to these kind of things. So I'm gonna start with kind of something similar to this, where I have a smushed background with oxide inks, and then we're gonna splatter with the pencil and then stamp and color. So that's just kind of an example. I have another. So what I did here was I took tumbled glass, carved pumpkin, and squeezed lemonade and oxides, and I just did kind of a controlled smush using the little plastic thing, and I put my ink on, sprayed it, and smushed it down. We've done that before, and I have a little background. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by splattering. So I think it is so much fun to find another way to splatter that's not so super messy. I'm going to use the Salty Ocean and my watercolor brush. To make it a little easier, I have a cup of water here, and I'm just going to dip my tip in. Not too much, and I'm just going to make sure my brush is wet. And I'm gonna take it down like this until I get some splatters on there, how I want. Yeah, and I touched it, but that's okay. It happens. There we go. Some fun splatters in there. I'm going to set this to dry because if I put it right back in, it's going to go right on there. And now you can see I have a lot on my brush. So if you wanted to grab just another piece of water, this is watercolor paper I am using, and you can just brush it on. So you can see if you have less water, it's going to be real intense. The more water you put, the more it's going to come down. Right, that was just all the excess I had from that. So you can always pick it up, put it on something else. And to clean my watercolor brush, I'm just gonna push out the water and put it right on my rag here. The blue is kind of dark, and I put kind of a lot on there, so that's kind of like that. And I should mention there's more than one way. You can, before I get back to this, I'm just gonna come and show you a couple different ways. You can put it on by coloring on like that, taking your brush and moving it around, and I'll show you more of this technique when I stamp on there, and you can move it around. Or you can do like I did, dip it in the water up here, and then you can put it on like that too. There's lots of different ways to do it, and we'll get into that more. But first, so I don't know if you can see some of those splatters, the dark blue splatters up in there. I'm going to now use my stamp platform here.
And Dagny's talking about how vibrant the color is. They are so bright.
So bright, yes.
And like that's such a little amount of
pigment.
Like these things would last forever.
Yes, and that is, it's all pigment in there. There's, like I said, no wood, and it is very bright. So the more water you're gonna use, you know, the more diluted it becomes, and that's okay. So I put my paper here right at the corner, and I'm gonna where did my stamps go? I'm gonna put it like a butterfly up here, and maybe this right like that. And I'm gonna use black archival to stamp these images, and because this one is waterproof. So if you want to be able to color a stamped image, you're gonna have to use a waterproof ink to do that. So I'll be using the black archival.
I don't know if you're asking me, Dagny, if I'm feeling better. I feel like that's probably what it is, and I am, so thank you so much. Much better.
Yeah. Just ink that up.
Hello, Kimberly.
And I'm just smushing it down. Probably can't see that. And because we use a stamp platform, if you don't get a great image, that's okay. We're gonna stamp it again. And after we color, this is why I'm using the stamp platform, is I'm gonna stamp it again just to really crisp those edge ups after we're done coloring it. So good enough for now. I'm just gonna keep those stamps right where they are so I can do it again. So I did use the oxide inks, like I said, like the tumble glass and stuff in the background. But you can still then go and use your watercolor pencils to color on top of a background you've already made. That's exactly like I did with this one. So I'm gonna use picked raspberry on the top of my butterfly here. And you can go do a lot of colors, but for the sake of today, I'm just gonna kind of keep it simple. I'm gonna take it dry, and I'm just gonna, in small circular motions, put some color down in there. Just like that. I'm gonna take my watercolor brush, and I'm just gonna then blend it out and smooth out that color and move that pigment around to where I want it. You can see it just goes right on top of that color. It didn't turn brown. I still have pink right up into that leaf there. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this side.
It stays so vibrant too, like it doesn't go like too pale or anything when you add the water.
Like if you add a lot of water and your brush is too wet, it will, but you can always layer colors right back on top of that too. So if I wanted to get that pinker, I would just go and scribble a little more on top. And then when I'm, see my rag here, I'm just brushing it off on there. Sometimes I like to feel how wet my brush is to make sure it is wet enough or not too wet, because if it's too wet, it can, like that. I want to maybe add some of this purple right through here. I think that would be kind of fun. And I'm going to add purple on this one too. It's just fun. It's one of these things, like, if you guys know me, I don't really like to color that much, but I feel like this is a little bit different than like coloring with markers or coloring with, because it's not super hard to do. Over in here. And like I said, I really enjoy that there is like the whole kind of a rainbow in each set, so you have enough colors to play around and have that fun. I think I will put, let's do some blue down in here.
I love that blue.
I just want to, yeah,
so,
it's
like,
a nice
bright.
one. That salty
It's
ocean
gorgeous.
one in this pack here is like super bright. And I'm kind of going out of the lines. I would be a little more careful if I wasn't trying to hurry for you guys because I wanted to show you a few more things on there. So you can see how that butterfly is now different colors and it's sitting right on top of that. I'm just going to add some color to this one down here, and then we're going to re-stamp it just so you can kind of see what that looks like. I'm going to use Rusty Hinge on some of these flowers here. I don't know why I just dipped that in water. I did though. Silly. There's so many ways you can use these. When I first brought them home, I was working on a mixed media canvas, and I put it on the canvas and I put it over some crackle texture paste, and it turned out beautiful. I was very impressed. Let's try some fired brick, see how that looks over it. And I just colored just a little dot in the middle, and then I'm just gonna take the wet and just move that color around. So that's all I'm doing, is I'm just moving the pigment around to where I want it. And I am by no means someone who watercolors all the time, so if I can do this, I feel like anyone can do this. Let's add some pink down there, because you know, it's not me doing a demo if I'm not using pink. And then I'll also come in with a purple, so you don't have to just do one color at a time. You can put your color down and then go back in with your brush to move it around. And before we stamp this, I'm going to just go and show you one other way to do the crown. You saw me flick it for the splatter, but if you really want some like real intense vibrant color because you watered it down a whole bunch, the more water you're going to use, like the lighter the colors. But you can then, I'm going to use the green for the stem. So I'm just going to take it, just dry, and I'm just going to put my brush on top to pick up some of that color. And then you'll get that real intense, don't mind my wiggly, shaky hand. And then you'll get kind of that more intense color you want down in there. And for smaller details, it's easier to just pick up a little section. Now this is peel paint green, so it's not going to be an in-your-face green like some petals will be. So I have different colors down on there, and it's sitting right on top of that oxide ink background that I did. So now, because it does kind of go on top of the black a little bit, I'm just going to re-stamp that image. That's why, and you don't have to. If you liked it like that, you don't have a stamp positioner or the platform to keep stamping over and over again, you don't have to. You can do it just one time. But it does look really neat when you can crisp those edges up a little bit. Because it's watercolor, so you're not used to those crisp edges in watercolor. And then, yeah, see how just like that, it's like nice and it's kind of fun that way. Here's them with just different colors and a different stamp butterfly. So it sits on top and you're able to put the water on and move that color around, and you can layer and layer to get more intense colors and things like that. All right, while I have the stamp platform out, I'm going to show you another way to use stamps and these watercolor inks. So this is one I did at home with the stamp that I kind of colored on. Ooh, let me get down in the... So you can color on the stamp and then stamp with it. Here's one that will... Snowflakes. I'm sick of snowflakes, so I'm sure you guys might be sick of snowflakes too, but we're doing snowflakes today just to show it, because that's what I had to make it nice and easy. So I'm still gonna put it right in our stamp platform here, only because you're gonna want to stamp it a few times for sure. And I'm just placing it where I want, sticking it down. Now there's a couple ways that you can color the watercolors onto the stamps. You can spray with a water bottle and then just color one section and put it down, spray and color all the sections. I suggest playing around. I'm just gonna miss my stamp just a couple times, and I'm gonna start from the center outwards. Or you could do it all at once. This first example, I colored it all at once and then stamped it one time, and that's what I got. But this, for the sake of this demo, I'm gonna start in the center and work my way out. And I'm gonna just start with Salvage Patina in the middle. And you're just gonna color kind of where I want. I'm not gonna be too fussy with it. Some of you might wanna be more fussy with it, and doing it this way in layers gives you plenty of, like, more room to be fussy with it. If you're not too fussy, you can color this whole thing when it's wet and stamp one time. So that was the Salvage Patina I did just in the middle there. And it didn't get super bright down there and a little bit wet. So then if it's not exactly, you can do it again. I'm gonna dip my tip in the water this time to just really get some color in there. Like I said, it's all about playing around and figuring out how it works best for you. Because what works for one person might not work the best for everyone. That's a little better. And then I'm gonna go in with this darker one, spray it again because we want to make sure they're a little wet. It is watercolor. I think the second time around I'm gonna show you what it's like if you use two colors on it at once. And I'm gonna use the Villainous Potion on the outside because I like to color all at once. I'm too impatient to put one color on at a time. But there's people who can, and good for them because it does turn out beautiful. It's not wrong. I'm just not so patient. And I want to show you some other things too. I'm going to close it down. Got a little wet, but it's watercolor, so you're not looking for super, but it's fun. You got all these different colors in there you can use. And because you are on the stamp platform, you can keep stamping and stamping over and over again if you wish. Set that aside. I will just spray that with water and clean those later. So all the white paper I've been using has been watercolor paper, but it does show up on different colors of paper as well. This black paper is not watercolor paper. It's just normal black cardstock, but you can see how vibrant those colors show up on the black. So I'm going to show you how that works because it's one of those things that when you put it down, it is hard to see and you're not even sure if it's actually, or I wasn't sure if it was actually working. So I'm just going to kind of freehand some things on here just to show you what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to do my little vine thing. So this is all I did. I drew a line, drew some things up like that, and then I take my water brush, making sure it's a little bit wet. I'm just going to follow that line. And it's fun with the black because you can't really tell what it's going to look like until it's dry. And then where my little leaves lines are, I'm just going to try to turn them into leaves. And it's okay to like dry your project in between and then layer more colors on. It's exactly, I say, when you have time, really just sit and play and layer and play and layer and play. Just gonna keep done that real quick so you can see. The green wasn't too hard to see, but some of the other colors.
It's still more vibrant though. Definitely.
So when I dry it, it pops it out a little bit. So let's show you how I did those little flowers on there. I'll put some pink on there. And I'm just doing little circles.
Do you have any of these in store? We have 2 left of set 1.
I have a set 2 and a set 3.
A set 2 and a set 3. I lied.
But that's okay. But we do have more on order. And it is my favorite on black. I just love black paper. So all I did is colored a little bit of circle of the pink in there. And I'm just going to take my brush and wet it. How am I on time? Oop, 5 minutes. We'll get there. If I go a little over, I'm sorry, ladies. And gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen out there watching. And I'm just kind of wetting the circle and then like making little brush strokes out. But I'm gonna hold this up because you see how it's kind of hard to see on there a little bit. You don't really see what I did. I'm just gonna heat tool it, and when it dries, see if you can see some of that magic pop up on there. And when it dries, then you can see some of those colors pop through. And if you want it more vibrant, then we would just go back, add some more of that color on there. Let me try with this dark salty ocean and see if you can see it that way. Just do a couple of dots and then just wet it down. This is my attempt at little flowers. It's just is what it is, just so you can see. So when it's wet, it's hard to see on there. But we're gonna dry it. And you can see how it makes it kind of pop out more once it's dry. And then you can continue to layer and layer. I just love the way it looks on black too. All those colors just really pop. I was worried at first because like I said, you put it down and you didn't see it. And I'm like, what is going on? And I thought it would be fun to try it over some texture paste. I used it over some crackle paste and it turned out beautiful. So let's see about, let's do some walnut stain just because I haven't used this one yet. Just some color a little bit on top of that texture paste. I don't know if you can see, I just put some lines on there. Oop, I didn't clean my brush. I haven't used it on just regular texture paste. I just rubbed it into some, like I said, crackle paste to put some dimensions in those. But it works on top of this texture paste. The walnut stain's kind of faint, but it is on there and it did move around on there, so kind of fun. You can also color on top of like an embossed image. This is one I did out of flowers. So you would emboss your image, color on top, and then you can stick it back in the embossing folder to really crisp out some of those edges, and it looks real fun. You can do it on a stencil. I'm going to show this one next. I definitely suggest pixie spray because you want your stencil to be really, really stuck down on there. So I'm going to spray the back of my stencil so I can stick it down real nice. Make sure it's stuck down good there. And so for some smaller bits, like I'm going to start in the center with some yellow, I'm going to dip it into the water. And then just really kind of get where those dots are. You can also use layering stencils. If you're going to use layering stencils, just clean the stencils before each layer so you're not adding more. This one is not a layer one, so I'm just gonna put it down there. I found that the speckled egg is very light on the white paper, so that's gonna be, I'm not gonna use that for this flower purpose, but I'm gonna use salvage patina on these petals. And all I'm doing is coloring a little bit in there, dry, and then going back over with my, I could have also done that when it was nice and I could have dipped it in the water too and used it as a wet tip as well. It's all how you play around with it and you like. Salvage patina comes out kind of light too. It's not as intense as some of those darker colors, and that's okay. Any questions so far on any of this stuff while I'm coloring in here? I will go back over with some, what color would be nice with that we have in here? Let's do speckled egg over on the top. I'm gonna wet it. I said even though it's not a very dark color, that's okay. Dark is always better for demos, I'm sorry, but this is actually pretty. And then I'm gonna go with my stem here. I'm going to dip the green in If you can get the stencil to really stick down, that's going to be your best bet in getting a real good image. Just for the sake of running out of time, I'm only going to do that little bit. I'm going to peel it up. And this might not have been the best, but you're going to get a watercolor image look out of it. I will show you a close-up of one. So this was another one I did with a stencil. This stencil happened to stick down. It was one of those sticky ones, so I was able to get each individual color nice in there. You can see that the yellows do really pop. The colors do really pop when you have more time to play and layer the colors on there. I do really enjoy it over embossed images as well. Just real quick, because I know we're out of time. Just kind of like color it on top, and it just adds so much detail. And then you can take your brush and then layer different colors on top to really give it that nice dimension and everything in there. But Distress watercolors, there's so many ways to use it. I only did a few ways today. And yeah, coloring stamps, freehanding. This was a freehand one. Coloring stamps, coloring on embossed images, putting it on anything you can think of. I hope you guys learned a few things or enjoyed this little demo of me playing around with this stuff. And I hope you guys have a good new year. And I hope that you guys want to try some of these new products out. It's really fun to play with. It's a lot of playing around. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining us today.